Hey everyone, this is Jim with Josh on You Don't Know Squatch, the Pandemic Edition.
How
How's it
you
going,
doing?
Josh?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing well, just kind of sticking around home. How about you?
Yeah, I mean the same. I like clean everything all the time now. This house is like germ free.
There's a good side. There's a silver lining to every storm cloud. So everybody's going to be cleaner when this is done, and we're all going to stand a little bit further apart when we talk, I think, than we used to.
Yeah, and this is like the only video game season of those battle royale. Like we're playing Call of Duty right now that I've actually been able to beat the season, so because I have so much time.
Yeah. Josh and I are duking it out with other people around the country on this online gaming. So, but we're also doing our podcast. So this is our second pandemic edition today, and we've got another interview today, Josh.
Yes, I can't wait. This is awesome. It's from our neck of the woods, so that's always gets me interested.
It is, yeah. It's not far from where Josh and I are here in Bailey. It's actually down towards Deckers, a little beyond Deckers, heading towards Woodland Park. And I don't know exactly where it is. He's explained it to me. I'll have to go there with him and check it out. But his name is Dan Stonewall, and we'll give him a call here in a second and let you guys meet him over the phone.
Now, how did you two come across each other?
Well, he came in the store early March before we had shut down on his birthday. That was what he wanted to do on his birthday. And we started talking, and he started telling me about this encounter that he's had, and actually sent me some photos. We'll talk more about that in the interview, but I blew the photos up, and there's something there. It's hard to dispute that it's a figure, and it looks way bigger than a human. But we'll let you guys judge for yourselves. I think we'll end up putting those photos on our website. But how about we get Dan on and hear what he's got to say?
Let's get to the phone lines.
Your call will be answered in the order it was received.
Hey, Dan, this is Jim Myers from the Sasquatch Outpost and You Don't Know Squatch podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Great. And Josh is on here with me.
How's it going?
Okay.
Dan?
So, Dan, we really appreciate you being willing to be on the show today. This is our podcast in the social distancing situation. So both Josh and I are at our individual homes. So how are you guys holding up with everything, with the quarantine and everything?
Well, you couldn't really pick a better spot to be quarantined as far as I'm concerned. We live in a mountain community. National forest is our backyard. So, I mean, it's not too tough.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm grateful to be up here in the mountains, too, for this time. I really wouldn't want to be crammed in the city somewhere with all this going on with the virus. So, but I'm so glad you got the time today. And Dan is a guy that came in my store. How long ago was it, Dan, that you came in? Maybe
it would have been March 12th because it was my birthday.
March 12th. Okay. Wow, that wasn't real long before we closed the store. So, and like many others before him, and I'm sure many after, Dan had a story to tell, which he proceeded to tell me in the store, and I asked him if he'd be willing to be on our show, and he thankfully was. So, Dan, like we normally do with our guests who are sharing their stories, we just want to have you tell the story of your encounter and what happened, and we'll go from there. We may have some questions for you as we go, but probably mostly questions at the end. So I'll give you the floor and let you take it away.
Okay. Well, I guess I'd describe the area as I live in just off the National Forest. It's in the middle of the Hayman burn, so there's sparse green areas here and there, but there's still areas of burn. this area where it happened would be on the backside of Cedar Mountain. And Cedar Mountain has a creek that runs behind it that we call Little Turkey Creek, which flows down into the Platte River. Geographically, about halfway between Woodland Park and Deckers. I like to walk this came about in May of 2012, and the snow had just melted out, and the creeks were running real good and everything. And so I like to go back with my dogs and backpack back there, take pictures, and I do a little rock hounding also. But anyway, on this day, it was probably 60 degrees, a little bit overcast, and the area is probably 4 miles from my home. And I'd hike back in there, following, actually pretty interesting, there's a trail that was actually part of the stagecoach route from Denver to Cripple Creek. And we actually call it, yeah, we actually call this section trail, one section stagecoach. But anyway, so I walked stagecoach till I got to Little Turkey Creek. Now, Little Turkey Creek is actually in a valley, so to speak. It's got some rock formations, almost cliffs, if you could say, maybe 200 to 300 foot tall, running on the left-hand side as you're going north. So it's got some really cool formations, and that area didn't get burned. I always call that area, when I start walking through there, kind of the enchanted forest, because it turns green from the burn. And you kind of I always got the feeling that something, and I thought it was mountain lions or something, you just knew everything got a little more quiet. But so I'd been there before, and I wasn't really too worried about anything. So I'm walking with my dogs, and I'm looking up at some of these cliffs up there and thinking, this would be a pretty good area for rock climbers. And as I'm walking, all of a sudden, I guess you'd call it a boulder, a rock a little bit bigger than a basketball, started coming down the hill, the cliff, and landed on the other side of the creek from me. Now, I wasn't too worried about it getting me because, it was a pretty good distance, but I'm looking up at the top, and I see two figures up on the top of this cliff. And like I say, the cliff is probably 250 foot tall, and I'm probably 2 football fields and as the crow flies or whatever away from that. So I'm looking, I can't really see the figures I could, but I figured there were some rock climbers that were up there. And I was wondering if that was just tumbled or if they threw it or what. And so I keep walking, and another one comes down. They definitely threw this one. I could kind of see them through the thing, and I'm looking up there at them. I yell up at them that there's somebody down here walking through the creek bottom. Well, they're kind of paralleling me on this cliff, and I'm seeing them. One figure was definitely bigger than the other one, and I remember thinking that it looked a little heavily clothed or a little big for rock climbers, because most of those guys, wear tight clothes and you can see them, but these were some pretty big figures up there. I'm a little bit worried that, it might be some crazies or whatever up there. So I'm moving a little bit faster along the creek line and want to start snapping some pictures up there. So I was taking pictures up there, and we got to a little bit of an opening. The next thing that came flying down the cliffside was a dead tree, probably about 15 or 20 foot long. It was looked like a dead scrub pine tree that came tumbling down and caught about halfway down the cliff. At this time, I'm a little bit worried that, like I say, I don't know what it is or who it is that's up there. I can't make it out. But they were definitely tossing stuff down at me, trying to get my attention. I decided then and there I should probably double time it out of there. Like I say, not knowing for sure. In the back of my mind, I was thinking this might be something a little out of the ordinary and not people, because they look so much bigger than people. Again, looking up that way, the sun was kind of up there, so they were blinding me a little bit. But so I drove it to the road, which was about 1.5 miles from where I was, Cedar Mountain Road, and proceeded to make my way home.
Well, as you told the story, you actually sent me 2 pictures you had on your phone of you looking up at the top of these cliffs. And in the pictures, even though the top is a long way away, you can definitely see one figure in particular. I think you said that was the larger of the 2.
Yeah, and that's after I had looked at those, and kind of blew them up a little bit and then just studied them and was asking other people. They definitely didn't look like people, and it definitely wasn't stationary, because I had one shot where it was standing in one position, and the next shot it was standing over about 15 foot. And they were pretty big, so I mean, then I started thinking that that definitely wasn't people up there, and started thinking maybe it was, I didn't want to say it to myself back then, but maybe it was Bigfoot or something.
Well, I took your pictures, and I blew that top of that cliff up even further and sent those to you. It's kind of it's too far away to get any real detail, but I don't know if either of those shots that I blew up of somebody standing up there were helpful at all.
Oh, so there was a figure up there for sure.
Yeah, to me, it definitely, after you sent it to me, especially the one picture, didn't look like a person at all. No. It had pretty wide shoulders and no neck per se, and looked like it was just standing there looking down the cliff. Yep. The other picture looked like might be a little bit sideways, standing sideways, but so after this had happened, I went back there a few days later to go up on there just to ascertain for myself if any people or anything had been up there, and I couldn't tell any sign that any people had been up there. Of course, didn't see any sign that anybody else had been up there or anything else, but I was definitely convinced that it wasn't an area that people would visit, at least not on a regular basis, because it's back off the road, and I really don't think too many people know about the area.
So, Josh, maybe I can send you a copy of these photos, and we can put it on the website at least as kind of additional evidence for this particular story.
Yeah, that would be no problem. I'd like to see that.
So there's a couple of... Go ahead, Josh. Do you have a question for him?
I was just wondering, when you got up to the top of there, was there anything that could have been that shape? Like, were there trees up on top or anything like that?
There's a few scrub ponderosa pine trees maybe up there, and a few dead trees up there, because, like I say, I think the fire might have hit up there a little more than it did down the valley. But it was just, the typical type of growth you see on the top of rock outcroppings, or on the top of cliffs and that type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I know the area, especially, not the exact area that you're talking about, but, on the way to Deckers and stuff like that, we're always scared that we're going to get taken out by a rock driving down that road.
Yeah, there's a lot of rock formations like that, and just another little side note, the reason why I kind of like this area is, you guys up there on Lost Creek Wilderness got a creek that goes in the ground and comes out. This little turkey creek goes into the ground and comes out about, probably 30 foot farther down the thing in a cave. And the cave, when it's running good, it's like you're standing in a shower or something there. It's, the cave's probably 12 foot tall, and it's a pretty cool formation. There's pools of water there that hold brookies, and so it's a nice little spot. But, I mean, like I say, it's in the Heman Fire now, so, I mean, getting back to any of that stuff is kind of like doing a steeplechase, jumping over trees and stuff.
Oh, yeah, and not to mention when the sun's beating down in there, it gets awfully hot. Like, it's almost like a desert, you know? There's no shade or anything.
Yeah. So I've been back to the area several times, and I take people back there and show them the creek, and haven't had any feeling or anything like that, you know, and I'll tell people that somebody or something was up on that bluff, and, whether they believe me or not. But so as soon as the snow comes out, it's going to probably be one of the first spots I go hit. Right now it's probably got, a foot and a half of snow up in there, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's close enough for you to take Jim along, you know?
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to get in there for another month at least, I would think. And we're still supposed to get some snow this weekend, and so we're not out of the woods as far as snow goes, but this place that you can see in the photo that we'll put on the site, these are sheer cliffs. The side the dam was on to begin with is the bottom of what are pretty much straight up cliffs, like you said, maybe 200, 250 feet up. So those figures were a long way away, maybe even farther than that, maybe even higher than that. I don't know. They're really high. And you can tell there's a figure up there. Only when it's blown way up can you see that it's probably a person, not a tree or anything else. I think from the blow-ups that we're going to put on the site, you won't. You'll know that's not a tree. It's clearly something else.
Because, like you said, I haven't seen the picture yet. I was just wondering if there was anything up there that, you could have just devil's advocate, just asking, if there's anything that could be mistaken.
Right.
Like I was saying, I thought the area would be a perfect area for rock climbers, but it's back off the beaten path, and there's so many other nice rock outcroppings around the area. Turkey Rock and Sheep's Nose and others that are well-known climb areas. But to me, it looked like if I was a climber, I'd be wanting to climb it because it's got a real good vertical on it, and these cliffs. The outcroppings probably run a good mile and a half. They'll have different formations, but it's got a plateau up on top, and it's got these really cool looking cliffs, for a mile and a half. So I mean, it's a pretty fun walk, and it's got some good pictures and stuff. So I still like going up there and doing that type of thing.
Plus the added benefit of somebody hucking big rocks down at you.
Yeah, do you think he was trying to hit you? Like, did you feel for your life? Like, did you feel like you were in danger?
Well, I really didn't feel any danger because it was so far away, and when they hit the bottom, I was on the other side, opposite side of the creek, and, after talking to people that know a little bit more about Bigfoot, they were telling me, well, if those guys would have wanted to hit you, they probably could have come close. But I think it was just somebody up there trying to get my attention, and I'm pretty sure that when I got into that valley, because like I say, I got a little feeling on the back of my neck. It didn't really scare me. I thought that maybe, there was a bear or a mountain lion somewhere around, and actually my dogs, started hanging a lot closer to me than usual. Usually they'll be off, 50, 100 foot away from me, running around sniffing stuff, but they pretty much followed by me when I was on the walking along that creek. But the other thing, I mean, this is just going in after I researched a little bit, the area there, and I was telling Jim this, has got some weird stuff that I seen the last time I went there. I guess that they call them tree structures or whatever. It looked like I don't know, Boy Scouts had made a teepee or something like that. But the branches were all broken, and there was that I seen there, and also in the top of an aspen tree that was around there, a medium-sized aspen, there was a deer carcass, and this tree wouldn't be sturdy enough for, you know, a mountain lion or anything to go up there and do that, but it was about 12 foot up. There's that. So I've been asking even one of the forest rescue guys that lives up here in my neighborhood about that, and he told me that, you know, well, that's what Boy Scouts do, and he told me that the carcass up in the tree was what mountain lions did. Now, I've seen mountain lions, if they cache something in a tree, you know, it's usually a big enough tree that they can get up in the tree, but this was, you know, a 40-foot aspen or whatever that definitely couldn't have held the weight of a mountain lion going up there. So, I don't know. The area to me, I see something new, a little bit weird all the time. I'm going to start documenting stuff a little bit better, and I'll probably, if I see anything cool, send it to Jim. But knowing what I know right now, I think I've got a little bit of a squatchy area out there. I mean, I haven't heard any vocalizations or, you know, tree knocks or anything, but also I really haven't been brave enough to be out there at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it doesn't have to be night. I mean, they were out there messing with you. From everything you've said, it sounds like it was a couple of Sasquatch. They're messing with you in the middle of the day. They just didn't say anything, but they were, you know, hucking rocks in the tree down. Their desire would probably be to scare you and make you move out of that area.
Well, mission accomplished, because I didn't hang around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
as soon as the dogs started acting weird, I would start, you know, I'd be worried.
Yeah, well, the dogs go with me almost all the time. Well, it's two different dogs now, but the dogs are, you know, they aren't scared of like bears. They'll chase a bear, but they're scared of mountain lions, and they're actually scared of coyotes also. But everything else, you know, and I think they probably know every scent in the wood, but since they were hanging by me, I definitely thought that, you know, my first thought was mountain lion, because there's usually a lot of mountain lion activity around here. You're always seeing deer carcass and stuff like that around. But anyway, that's my story.
Hey, how far up that aspen did you say you found the carcass?
It was about 12 foot. It was definitely taller than a basketball hoop. I mean, I couldn't, I was thinking about, you know, knocking it down with another limb or anything like that, but I just decided to look up there, and it was kind of weird, because it was just the skin, and it had, still had the legs, but, you know, looked like part of the head was still there, but everything else was gone. It was like a perfect skin job, and you know, I thought that was weird, because when I see mountain lion kills and stuff like that, you know, the first day there might be a carcass left there, but the scavengers, you know, just about eat everything, and you usually don't have a hide still left. You just got some bones.
Well,
So,
and the tree was too small. From what you said, it was too small in diameter of a tree for a mountain lion to climb up with a kill and stick it up there. So a good lion will weigh 100, 150 pounds. So, you know, what diameter was the tree?
it was probably 4-inch diameter, maybe a little bit bigger than that. You know, it's all the new growth aspen that have come up since the fire. So most of them are maybe 30 foot tall or whatever. But it's just that the new growth aspen is what the grove was.
Well, and I've seen tons of lion kills on the ground. Now, I'm not saying they never catch their kill in a tree. I've never seen it, not in Colorado. And usually they'll leave it on the ground and they'll partially bury it with leaves and stuff so they can come back. But interesting thing about what I've heard, and I've found some kills I think were Sasquatch responsible for it, but I've heard that when Sasquatch kills something, nothing will come bother it. No scavengers come and eat on it. And I haven't validated that. It's more anecdotal from other people that say they've seen. But I've found 3 times an entire hind leg of an elk in a tree hanging over a branch. That's basically their knee. It was hanging over at the point of the knee down both sides of the branch. And I found that 3 times. Now, again, I've hunted a lot, and I've never heard any hunter say, yeah, after I make a kill and we butcher it, we always hang a leg over a branch, nearby branch. No one's ever said that. I don't think anyone does that. And so the fact that I keep finding these legs over branches makes me wonder if it's not a Sasquatch doing that.
Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff could be explained that way. I mean, I don't know about you before, but stuff that I see that was kind of weird out there, before you wouldn't really think what's going on. You just think, why would somebody do that? But now you start thinking, like with that tree structure, a teepee out there in the middle of nowhere that I know no Boy Scouts are out there or whatever like that. It's so yeah, it's a good area. I mean, but I haven't seen anything in any other areas. It's just along that creek right there that I've seen stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there with you this summer, I hope. Okay, yeah. For myself. It's got an area there they can camp, or if you want to just pack in, like I say, it's not that far. We'll keep in touch, and because I think that's an area that you guys probably haven't hit. In looking at there's huge expanses of wilderness from the Cedar Mountain Road to the Platte River and the watershed that's down there. I mean, there's some gulches that go down there like Metbury and Longmire that Jeeps take, but there's just huge expanses that you can look in that type of stuff. That's why, I love the Platte area or whatever. There's an area I go to that I call the Miniature Royal Gorge, because on both sides it's just got huge rock outcroppings on each side of the Platte, and it's like people don't even go there. And I'm like, this is a great area.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite areas.
One question from me, and then maybe Josh has a question. Have you ever found a cave in the times you've been out there?
Come again?
Have you found a cave any time that you've been out there?
The only cave that I've found is that one that the creek comes in and comes back out there. There's still in some of the areas, there's the holes that they blast for back in the late 1800s when they were looking for gold. I don't know if you come across them up in the Bailey area, but there's a lot of those, and you come across some shafts that miners had sunk every once in a while, and wonder why they would sink a shaft way out there in the middle of nowhere. But I haven't come across any caves other than that.
Interesting. Any other questions from you, Josh, or thoughts?
No, I go to that area all the time. Like we were always like fly fishing around the Platte, so now it got me on the lookout.
Yeah. If you fly fishing, which area of the Platte do you guys fly fish?
We do. We're over there by Deckers a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've got off-road capabilities, sometime jump on Cedar Mountain Road and go down Longmire Gulch. You need at least a Jeep or an ATV or something, but there's some great fly fishing there. You can catch all three. There's some cutthroat in there. There's rainbow, brookies. So we've caught all three in one day fishing there.
Awesome.
Cool.
And that's after the Hayman fire. The fishing wasn't all that good for a while, but I mean it's starting to come back now. Yeah, if you don't like fishing shoulder to shoulder, I'd go upstream a little bit on the other side of the Cheeseman, and there's some areas where you can catch fish.
Oh,
Yeah.
good deal. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll try that out this season.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, it's starting to snow here, so I probably better get off the line, get out there and start shoveling.
All right.
Well, thank you,
Well,
Dan,
thanks for
for being
sharing your
with us
story.
today.
Okay, thanks. We'll talk later.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was awesome. So now
Yeah, that was-
every time I hear a rock slide down over in Platte
Yeah.
Canyon, I'm gonna be on the alert.
Yeah, exactly. When big rocks fall down, especially more than one, you got to wonder, okay, who's up there? I mean, if I were in his situation, I would have thought, like he thought. At first, I would have thought, man, somebody's up there messing with me, throwing a rock down, trying to scare me or whatever. I think when the tree came down, I probably would have changed my mind and said, okay, this isn't funny anymore. Man, they're throwing trees at me.
That's like something only Ewoks do,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you gonna
yeah.
head out there? You gonna go check it out?
I think so. I mean, we've had so many interviews from great people. I've got to get out to some of these places just so we can say we did an honest-to-goodness investigation and checked it out and, walked around where this situation happened and tell them what we think it might have been. But it's close, so that's easy. A lot of the people we've interviewed are a lot further away in the state, so this will be an easy one.
Oh yeah. I mean, like it's so like close that now I'm starting to question noises I hear at night in the backyard.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess that's wraps
So
it
you
up.
guys holding out okay?
Oh
You guys holding out
yeah.
okay with the quarantine?
We got toilet paper and everything.
Oh, awesome!
We
Wow,
actually found
you got it
some.
recently. They have more in the store.
Yeah. It seems like it's kind of relaxing a little bit now,
Well, that's good. We've got to get to the point where we start to live life again in some manner of normalcy. So
Without giving each
I'm
other
still not sure
super
about going to
cookies.
the grocery store. I think I may wear a mask when I go. To me, that's going to be the place of transmission for this whole thing. Is one of the few places people are going to gather now is in the grocery store.
Yeah, and I hate to, it's just something I heard on the news today. Like, I hate to say stuff like that, especially since I'm not an expert in the field. But, they are saying it is, you can transmit it now just from talking. Like,
Wow,
it hangs in
airborne.
the air. Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe the
That's not good.
face mask isn't
That's
a
not
bad
good.
idea.
Yeah, and everybody's learning. It's kind of like Bigfoot research, You learn something new every time you hear. Every time the news comes on, they're saying something else they learned about this virus. So we may have to give the virus a new name, like Corona Squatch, or because it's a mystery that people are trying to figure out, and then you get the experts. Everybody is now an expert on coronavirus. The thing's only been around since December last year, so
Yeah.
So just like with Bigfoot, anytime someone says, "Yeah, I'm an expert with the coronavirus," I'm kind of thinking, well, you may be an expert in your medical field, but does anybody really have the full picture on this thing yet? I kind of doubt
it's
it.
still, they still learn things about all diseases, Like, it's an
Yes,
ongoing...
that's for sure.
Like, science isn't fast,
Nope. So for the foreseeable future, looks like we'll probably be doing another couple of episodes anyway from our social distancing situation. So
doing our
it was
part.
great to hear your voice and be on with you, Josh.
Yeah. It's good to see, hear you too, man. It's fun doing this, and I hope everybody listening's having a good time too while they do this and learning stuff.
Yeah. And while we're all just up at home, send us a few questions or comments on anywhere on social media that you find you don't know Squatch. We'd love to try and give an answer or at least comment on what you've said.
Now's the time to do it, folks. Guys, send in those, and we know you got time. Send in those questions, and we'll get to them right away.
Awesome.
All right, so I guess that's it for this episode. Until next time, always remember,
you don't know Squatch.
I will, though. I will.
Yes, you will.